Everybody told me you could be whatever you wanna be. So I told myself I'ma be a singer, I'ma play on the keys. I can do whatever I want if I just believe. Yeah.
Thumbnail. Can you see? I think you can see this. You can see this ring light in the glasses, and I think the glasses become distracting a little bit. So these glasses for fashion, they ain't for seeing anyway. I'm going to take them off. Whew. This is nerve-wracking.
Hey Bess, Editing Jordan here, known as EJ going forward. I went back and forth on whether I wanted to release this video or not. You know, got the naysayers that say, certain things should be kept to yourself, but I wanted to be as transparent as possible. I actually felt much better getting this off of my chest, and I want you to know who I am as a person, why I'm the way I am, and some things just need to be said. So this is a trigger warning. I do discuss topics that will be triggering to some, so here's your warning now.
Okay. Maybe this is practice, maybe it's something that I'll eventually release, but I'm trying to, I guess, be open on this platform. Once again, my goal, if you watched the previous video, is to just be authentically me. A big reason why I experienced a hiatus on social media for about 4 years is because I was worried about the perception of me wanting to present like this clean cut, well-rounded, just all around guided together presentation, and it's just simply not the case. I had a chat with my friend the other day, one of my childhood friends, and she has rehashed something that I hear quite often, and that is just to tell my story. I know everyone has a story, so I would like to share mine. I'm still here, so hopefully, I can learn from it, you can learn from it, my children can learn from it. It's really just to get it out, work out all of the kinks in it, and move forward so I can finally have a nice, peaceful life. That's the goal this year, is to try to build that for myself, for my family, but selfishly for myself. Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you are one of my MVPs, if you're not, welcome. My name is Jordan, or at least that is what you know me by. I am a self-proclaimed millennial misfit. This channel is going to be all over the place, just kind of like a la my life. So I haven't really, I guess, discovered exactly what I want to do here, because for a long time I was just tied up in the fact that I thought I was going to be a musician. So this is different. You can successfully be an introverted musician. I don't think you can be like as introverted when it comes to blasting your business to the public. So you have to be a little open, have to break open your shell a little bit. So I'm trying to figure it out. I'm a millennial. I am a midlife millennial. So I feel like I'm going through a midlife crisis right now. I'm 35. Let's just put it out there. I am 35. I am 35 years old, and I'm just finally grasping certain concepts that admittedly others have obtained and understood earlier than I have. I've just now come to terms with that. I can't let that, stop forward progression. So here we are. I just want to say excuse my bed. My bed is, it's full of blankets. That's normally how it was. It's not aesthetically pleasing at all. The majority of the time, we'll get into it, but I'm not big on aesthetics, at least not anymore. Once again, wanting this picture perfect, lifestyle, home, self-presentation, but I just live comfortably. Then that is what it is. So if you see all these blankets in the background, I got my backpack over here, this may appear in the shot, then, pay it no mind. I wanted to talk today about how my parent, for want of a better word, like my parents really dropped the ball. And for the longest time, I blamed them. I utilized that blame to be comfortable in my low performance. I utilized that blame for explaining why I haven't achieved as much growth as I would like, why I haven't achieved as much growth as I see others have, why I haven't been as successful as I visualized. There comes a time where one must accept accountability in their lives, and at 35, I would like to think that I have played a role in some of this, at least from not even 18, at least from 16. Yeah, since that's when I no longer had parental overseers, not guidance, because I don't feel like I've ever had any guidance. I don't feel like I've ever had any direction, at least from my parents. Of course, there's been I wouldn't say aunts, but aunts, different figures, adult figures that have appeared here and there throughout my life, but no guidance or direction by the ones that I feel like you're supposed to have guidance and direction from. I'm a big advocate for therapy. So I just want to preface what I'm about to say with that, because I feel childhood trauma is something that you don't get over. You just learn to live with it. For years, at least in my adolescence, I always thought that whatever I went through, it would subside later. And it's kind of like the story of my life. Like with music, I didn't push myself as hard as I could have or as I should have. You'll hear me talk about music a lot, so I'm gonna drop a link, wherever it goes. I'm gonna put a link here where you can go check out, some of my previous tunes. And I was pretty alright on the mic, if I do say so myself. Primarily a writer, always a writer, but I could have did something, could have got a little piece of the pie. Nevertheless, I didn't really push myself into doing it because I always felt like I had time. And that's just the thing in my life, once again, just feeling like, I'll put it off, I'll have time, I'll be able to do it, maybe a couple of years from now when things settle down. Well, I'm 35 and still nothing. Yeah, childhood trauma is something that I've dealt with a big majority of my life. I don't feel like that I've had it worse than I haven't had it the worst by a long shot. I know, especially the more and more I get older and the more and more I am introduced to other stories, and I didn't have it, as bad as others, but things could have definitely been better. It doesn't lessen what I went through personally. So growing up, I was raised by a single mother, and she did her best. So another preface to everything I'm about to say, I love my mother, and it's nothing that takes away the love that I have for her. It's actually, sometimes it feels like a Stockholm syndrome. But we love our mothers. You know, we only have one, and I could have had a worse one. Like I said, my mom, she did what she could. She's a single mother of 3 girls, and, you know, living low income, working fast food restaurants. She did what she could and what she needed to do. I was never homeless growing up. I can't remember wanting for meals because I was a fat ass. Y'all see my weight fluctuate. I would say I am now, but you know, I'm just a little thickums right now. I was a little plump kid, so I didn't want for meals. You know, I never had to, you know, be in a home without electricity. So when I put everything in perspective and like what I go through now, like my mom definitely did her thing. So sound all that to say, it's not to undermine any of that, but there are things that a girl wants from a mother or expects from a mother that I just did not get. I wasn't taught to be a woman. I wasn't taught to not place men. I don't necessarily chase men, but I've always been very love-minded. I wear my heart on my sleeve, so I just knew that, you know, eventually I would want a man of my own. I just wasn't taught how to navigate that. I was actually envious of some of my closest friends' relationships with their mothers, how they could go to their mother and pretty much talk to them about anything. I mean, they had moms that were just as hard on them as I feel like my mom was on me, but for different reasons. Like, my mom was hard on me because that is all she knew, versus their moms being hard on them because they wanted to see them succeed. My childhood friends can attest for this. There really wasn't any reason for my life to turn out like this. Like, there wasn't a subject in school that I did not master. I always pride myself on my ability to not only meet goals but exceed them. That still exists in my work ethic, but obviously not enough to get me out of this hole I've dug myself in. But yeah, I was top A student. People swore up and down I was going to like Harvard or Yale. I have people to this day tell me, like, I thought you were going to go off and be a lawyer. People literally used to, I don't know where you are, but here in Indiana, they'd have tests and sometimes the teacher would grade it on a curve. And people would pay me to miss a couple of questions so that way the curve would be lower, because Lord knows I wasn't going to miss any, if any. And then it came naturally to me. Scholastics did, at least. I don't know about this street life. I made it through, but it definitely didn't come as easy to me as my education. And like, I'd be in the back of a classroom, sleep, wake up still, get an A in it, because I just had a natural propensity to excel in school. And so I don't feel like that my mom pushed me enough. She knew, like everybody knew. My nickname was Punkin growing up, so everybody would be like, oh, you know, Punkin this, Punkin that, or Punkin got this grade, Punkin got this, and you know, Punkin gets a C, then everybody wants to, you know, like everybody's wondering what happened. But that was it. It was just like, okay, you know, you did great, you got an A. But the actual, when you see that in a child, you're supposed to nurture that and make sure that you're always checking in with, you know, where they are mentally and what they need from you to support them in whatever endeavor that they're choosing to embark upon. And I don't feel like I got that from my mother, especially being that that's where I was primarily raised. I had 2 younger sisters, so I was the oldest in my mom's household, and I got my ass whooped all the time. Not, once again, not undermining other people, because I know that people have like terrible traumatic experiences when it comes to physical abuse. It was borderline physical abuse. I got my ass whooped. Like, I got my ass whooped all the time. And now that I'm older, I see that I was a kid, so I'm pretty sure I did some things that wasn't satisfactory in her eyes, but she also was dealing with her scorn towards life. And I feel like that there was a lot of misguided, misdirected anger that was taken out on her children. And me being the oldest and also the protector of the family, you know, I caught it the worst. Being the protector of my family is another reason why I feel like I didn't get to like explore and just kind of blossom as much as I anticipated. I was afraid to leave home. I got an invitational from University of Penn. I had NYU was interested in me, and I just was afraid to go. Like, I was afraid to leave my home state because I'm like, who's going to protect my mom and my sisters if I'm not there? Not knowing that my sisters would leave and go back to Illinois, and you know, my mom, she's still here, but none of that matters. What matters, but I could have went, got it done, and came back, you know? I guess being sheltered in that sense, it definitely led to stunted growth, for sure. I love my mom, once again, but we had a tough relationship. We actually, I wasn't able to talk to my mom until I had my first child at 19, and even to this day, it's a loving relationship, but I can only have a limit of doses of the relationship. There are some times where I have to distance myself from my sanity because now she's sick, and it makes it even more difficult to deal with her. She used to be like a hard ass, and now she's more demure, but still a hard ass at heart. She just can't be that way because then she's susceptible to like having seizures and, you know, different health issues. It can be difficult for me to deal with it because I don't want to be the reason why she, you know, has an adverse reaction to anything that I say. So I have to tread lightly a lot, and there's a lot of times I just need my mom. Like, I'm 35, and I know you other millennials, you're like, you need your mom. She still, rest in peace to my grandmother, she still wants her mom. And my mom's, 60 years old? So I don't think that's something that you ever get over. And so, yeah, it definitely has molded me into where I am today. There's also the reason why I'm trying my fucking hardest to not pass this generational trauma on to my children. Like, my children, yeah, I yell. I do, but I can't remember the last time I don't whoop their ass. They don't get their ass whooped. I had to tap my little one, and you can't even do that. It's just like a little tap because somebody gonna call the people on you, and you know, they scream and yell like somebody's trying to kill them or something because they don't get their ass whooped. So it is one of my goals. It is one of the things I pride myself on, is trying not to pass that trauma onto them. But there are some times where I recognize it. Like when I'm overstimulated, I definitely, go on a rampage sometimes. And sometimes you don't even need an ass whooping. Like words hurt, especially when you're in those young, impressionable stages. Like words hurt. I still remember shit that my mom said to me to this day that make me shy away. So I'm very aware of that and working on, just to ensure that they don't feel that too much, at least. Going in on the other side, and then I'll put a trigger warning here. I'm gonna try not to break down. I definitely see why people end up breaking down on camera, because you're literally talking about things that may generate that type of emotion. But I'm just gonna put it all out. I don't talk about this with anyone. I don't think, barely. No one really knows. There are a couple of people, like my sisters know. Even then, it's like they know of. No one really knows what I went through on the other side. So, and then I'm tired of this man out here living his life, building houses in Utah, bouncing all over the United States with his wife, just living a glorious life, devoting himself to the Lord, knowing damn well you weren't about the right for a long time. And sometimes I feel guilty. Oh, there you go. Because I didn't say anything in time, and still, his wife probably thinks he's this great, upstanding human being. And I hope that no other young lady has fallen victim to him. But yes, you can probably guess where it's leading up to. My father was, I don't know, don't talk to him anymore, pedophile. He was gross. And yeah, I was SM'd, SA'd, however you say it in a politically correct way for YouTube, since I was in 3rd grade. It started when I was in 3rd grade and didn't end until I was in 9th grade. Then I finally disconnected in 10th grade, which is why at 16 I was kind of, let go by my parents. I ended up moving with my aunt. I spent some time with her, came back. I think I was 17 when I officially hit the road as an adult, somebody that was just out here on their own. Yeah, my father, I feel every girl needs her dad, and to the naked eye, unbeknownst to everyone, I was a daddy's girl, because I was outside looking in. I was spoiled. We used to go on trips. He'd send me money every week. Pretty much anything I wanted, I was able to obtain, because it was a purchase of my silence. I just hate feeling like I was okay with that at one point, because my mom didn't have much. She, like I said, she's working at fast food jobs, Rallies, Checkers, White Castle. I managed McDonald's. She worked at one of the McDonald's I managed. So she wasn't you know, I wasn't able to get what I wanted. I got what I needed, but getting those like extra bell and whistle things, I didn't get those unless I was asking my father for them. So like my first phone, I had like the latest phone, like when Razors came out. I had the Razor first type ordeal. I had like things that I wanted, like all the game systems, Game Boys, PlayStation, Team PlayStation. I know it's Team Xbox now, but it was PlayStation everything, Sony everything. I got what I wanted because the man essentially treated me like his girlfriend for a long time. I remember when I went out to Vegas, he lived in Vegas my freshman year of high school, and I went out to Vegas and I was, I wanted makeup. I had Maybelline had came out with this lipstick and it had like a shimmer in it. It was like the newest, like the latest thing in makeup, and I really wanted some. He went and purchased me like my first makeup, and I remember like his car was equipped with like speakers because I guess he thought he was young, hip, and cool. And we'd be driving to like drive-throughs, like a Jack in the Box out there, and I remember like somebody thought that I was his girlfriend. And hindsight is always 20/20, but they thought that because that's the way I was being presented in a sense. I almost feel like I was being groomed because I remember, I said it, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, there was never any, I don't know if I can say this or not, so I'll bleep it out. There was never any, but it was offered to me. The exact words were that if I was, afraid when it came down to that time, that he would be my first. Which, honestly, that just kind of grossed me out to verbalize it, because Jesus Christ, here we go. I don't talk about this often, if at all. And maybe it's one of the things that I did need to open up in therapy about, but I haven't, because it's a repressed memory, or at least I try to make it so. But I'm realizing, bringing all this back around, is that like this, a combination of all that shit, like, fucked me up. So now I'm just out here. The longest time I was just, moving aimlessly through life. Like, I always been ambitious. I always never knew what I was going to do in life. I just used to tell people that I want to walk in a building and hear my heels clack on the floor with my briefcase making $100K a year. That's all I used to say. And never knew what that job was. I just knew that I would have to catch the elevator up to the top floor to get to that job. And I just knew that was going to happen. But one thing led to another, and now here we are. I have always envied how there are some people that take traumatic experiences and they become phoenixes, and they rise from the ashes of those experiences, whereas the ashes became symbolic of my spiritual death. And so for those early adult years, going into my later 20s, I've just felt like the Walking Dead. At the same time, I was living out a childhood that I didn't get to experience. Yeah, I got to, I was out on Pinnacle Square, if you know, hanging out with my friends, past the curfew. Sometimes that's why I got my ass whooped, because I was outside too late. But those times, I cherish those, seriously. Because on the other side of all of that, I was dealing with some shit, and I don't feel like that I was ever able to fully be a child. I was playing girlfriend to my mom's sperm donor, and then my mom, I was playing babysitter, protector, pretty much the man of the house, the baby daddy. I don't know what you want to call it, but whenever like she needed something, I was there. Always taking up for her. Of course, that's my mom, but even like I said, even to more of an extent, when I used to go on vacations with him, like I just felt like a piece of me wasn't settled. Number one, because I was going through the shit with him, but number two, because my family, my mom and my two sisters, were now unprotected. I used to always feel, and still feel to this day, about the people I love, like if it ever came down to me or them, then you take me first. And if I'm not there, then that decision can't be made. So with that, I feel like I've just matured. Like honestly, right here, like in my early 30s, I'd give it, 30, things were starting to, make a little sense. 31, 32, yeah, but like when it started, like the uptick started happening, that's when I realized, like, hey, like you're an adult. You kind of have to start acting like one. Even though I tell my kids all the time, like, we as adults, like we're nothing but grown kids. That's all we are, but you have to kind of display that, and can't be out here making like haphazard decisions because you're a grown kid. And I feel like that's what the majority of my 20s was. It's just me like working out the kinks and just like trying to live out this childhood, a full childhood that I never had. Like I was homeless because I just, like I said, going back to time, like I just always knew that like this is it now, but it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna be rich. I'm going to have things. So I'm dealing with this now. So I'm gonna keep making, dumbass decisions because I'll grow up one day. And maybe not today, but one day in the future, I'll grow up. I was bouncing all over the place. I mean, all over the United States. I went from here in Indy up to Chicago, back here to Indy, over to Ohio, had all three of my kids, moved to Phoenix, moved back to Indianapolis, moved back to Ohio, and now I'm here. This is the longest stint I've been here. How long have I been here? I've been here going on 8 years? 7, 8 years? That's the longest time I've spent anywhere as an adult. Anywhere. I wanted to live that childhood and figure it out along the way, like most people do, like in their early 20s or in their late teens. So with all this being said, I'm pretty sure I can go into like further detail on like the parental mishaps that I feel like my parents engaged in. We'll get into those stories, I'm sure, later. But just all in all, I just wanted to just kind of voice some accountability that I'm accepting for my life. I mean, I just can't catch a break. Like some days I'm doing good, I'm doing great, I'm making like tons of cash, and things are looking up for me, and then I just crash. And it's just been like my consistency is, it sucked. It sucked. It sucks. So here I am at 35, not wanting to feel this way again in 5 years. I don't want to be 40 years old, sitting here talking about, I don't know what I'm doing in my life. I don't know what I'm supposed to do in my life. Sitting here dwelling on things that happened to me 15, 20 years ago that should no longer have control over me. That's for the longest time I've allowed those experiences to have control over my life. And today is when I'm saying enough. I'm no longer blaming my mom. Like I said, she did what the hell she could with what she had. And I'm no longer blaming that sick bastard because, you know, there's a special spot for him. And I heard it's very hot there. And I hope he watches this. I hope you watch this. Because I want you to know that you single-handedly fucked over your daughter, your only daughter. That has to make you twitch a little at night. I mean, do you feel anything about it? Do you feel bad at all? I'm not going to. I'm going to change my life around. We're going to figure this shit out. And then we're going to move forward. So my plans are moving forward. Because I just feel like a big old, like, boop bubble of emotion is about to pop out. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to go, like, cry after I'm done recording this. And that's fine. Because, I mean, I successfully made it through without breaking down on camera. Lord knows I do not want to be one of those. But the plan moving forward is just to continue in this spiritual growth and this healing that I have been embarking upon. I grew up Christian, so there's like a religious undertone to my journey. But I'll be completely honest with you, like I'm not as religious as I used to be, if at all. At one point, I thought I was like really heading down a path of atheism. I'm really scientific minded as well, so I mean, like I said, we'll touch on that at a later time because that, you know, there's a really fine line, gray area when it comes to science and religion. I felt abandoned at one point in time with all of the things I've been through. I don't know, something always keeps me in the mind space of that there's something out here bigger than us. I don't believe it's anything but God. I just don't think maybe it's what I was taught to believe. Especially with this motherfucker, him, I remember for the longest time, like on Facebook, like all you'd see is like all of these, you know, church quotes and, you know, all this godly information. I'm like, where was God in your life for, what's that, six fucking years? And then it only was discontinued because I got older and I realized that, you know, hey, you know, this may not be so good. Actually, I'll tell you, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. I'll tell you what happened. I was being a dumbass at 16. I wanted to just kick it with my friends, and I was out at my friend's house, and my mom, she ended up moving. We lived out east, Indianapolis, and she ended up moving out west with her boyfriend, her now husband. So, you know, good for her. But she ended up moving out west, and I was not trying to leave my friends, and it was summertime, so I stayed with my friends. But apparently I didn't have her permission to do so, so she had called me in as a runaway. I was on my way downtown to do something. My friend had walked into the bus stop and everything, and police pulled up on me and took my ass to juvie. So we were still in a rough space, and I had always wanted to move with my father because he gave me all the things. So I wanted to move with my father. He actually had gotten married, so there really wasn't much interaction between he and I, but I knew in order to keep me quiet, you know, I'd still he had to provide me with the luxuries. And I was turning 16 and I thought I was going to get a car and all this stuff from him. So I ended up moving to Norwalk, California. He and his wife had moved from Vegas to Norwalk. So I ended up going out there to California. But the man didn't know that I was active, and I wanted to go get like birth control, and I just wanted to let people know, because that's what you're supposed to do, right? So I let him know that I was active. And do you know this man booked my ticket out of LAX back to IND with the quickness? I was sad. Yeah, I was sad from leaving my friends, but if you're a parent, it don't matter what the fuck I feel, you know? Like you make me do what the fuck I'm supposed to do. Like I'm a child under your direction and instruction. Like I was 16, so it didn't matter what the hell I wanted, in a sense, you know? But he felt like I didn't want to be there, and I kind of didn't. But at the same time, there was nothing for me back here, and that's exactly what happened. I went down the wrong path, but it's not like there was a better path that way. Anyway, I tend to go on a tangent, but he booked my shit, dropped me off at LAX, like didn't even walk me through, just dropped my ass off, and I had to go through the airport by myself once again, and boom, I was back in Indy. And that was kind of where the cookie like crumbled, and it was like a little piece left. Once again, we'll get into a story at a later time. I tried to utilize people for what they're worth. I was in a situation, I felt like I was owed at least a chance to do better. Contacted the man, shit still didn't go well. So that's when I cut it off. I told his mom, to this day I don't talk to her, don't talk to him, don't know where the fuck he is, don't care. He could fall out one of his flights, all I care. I wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire. I'd shit on his grave. I would defile the fuck out of it. And that's where I'm at with that. I don't know how that ties into my spiritual journey or whatever, but in any event, plan moving forward is to seek something therapeutic for that, because I definitely probably needed to open up a little bit more about it and explore other ways to deal with that trauma. But I've definitely been on like a spiritual journey. I've been exploring metaphysical, because my thing is, like, at this point I gotta believe in something, and like, what do I have to lose by being positive minded and surrounding myself with positive energy and anecdotes and all of the things that are encompassed in the metaphysical spiritual realm. And I've just been utilizing that to change my mindset on things. So I am done making excuses for myself, done blaming other people for where I am now. I've had more than enough time to get things figured out. So that's what we're gonna do. 2025 is a year of figuring shit out. So I'm done rambling. That's pretty much what this has turned into. I'm actually about to go try to get some things done so I can propel myself and move myself forward. I would say, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, but I really don't care if you do any of that stuff with this one, because this was more of like a heart to heart between me and you. But if you feel me, then just make sure you stay tuned. This channel is nothing but a diary. It's Jordan's journal. So this is my journey through this thing that we call life. And if you feel me, hop in for a ride. I'm driving the bus.